You are listening to Peak One Sports.
Welcome to this.
Whatever this is.
Welcome to the way too early roster grade special. Even though we're halfway through already, we get our own special for the Pacific.
Yeah, buddy.
And the what is the other one called? The Central.
Yep.
I feel like Metro's cool, Atlantic's cool, Pacific's cool, and Central just needs a better name.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Because like Vancouver's not in the Central.
No, they're in the Pacific, right?
You know what I mean?
You know.
Anyways, all right.
I don't know.
Even though it's its own show now, the show, as all the shows, are brought to you by Betalytics. Go to betalytics.com, make a profile, promo code PEAK1, get 25% off, and make smarter bets, people. See, me, I couldn't have really made much smarter bets this weekend on football.
Hey, that a kid.
Don't say that.
No?
Because if I'd have done all single bets, because I bet week one of football, and I'm a parlay guy when it comes to football, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I like to not win.
Well, as you do.
But so I bet week one, lost because of the Seahawks, the one team in my 7-leg parlay that didn't win. And then I took a couple weeks off. And then I won some money on the UFC on Saturday night. So you know what? I'm going to make some parlays on football on Sunday. Had a morning parlay and an afternoon parlay. Again, all but one team in both parlays hit. So if I'd have made single bets in all my football bets, I would be like 17-3 right now.
Hey, that's not bad.
But instead, I'm 0 for 3 on parlays.
Yeah, that's the problem that I see there.
So I probably will get into that a little bit more on this. If you're watching this right now, go back and check out the Bungalow Sports Show because it came out yesterday.
It's like playing hockey and then going hey, I won every face-off. Mm-hmm. We had more time of possession. We had more power plays, but we lost because the other team had more goals.
Are you saying I'm the Rod Brindamore of football parlays?
I'm not gonna say it, but I think you already did.
But anyways, again, don't be like me. Go to Betalytics. They'll give you all the info you need to make smarter bets. And back again for they're gearing up for fantasy basketball. Daniel and I just did our draft for his fantasy hockey league.
Sure did.
If you are a commissioner of a fantasy league and it gets complicated, you got some attitudes, you don't like asking people for money, in some of these leagues, some of these fantasy football leagues are crazy, dude. They have like payouts midweek and like different, like all kinds of different money stuff going on, and League Swipe will help you. It'll just organize everything into a nice spreadsheet. It'll send out it'll be your enforcer knocking on the door asking for money for you, like so it doesn't have to come from you. It'll come from League Swipe. Say, pay up.
That's a great idea.
You know what I mean? So makes everything a little less personal, so people don't necessarily. All my fantasy leagues are real simple. At least the ones that I are the commissioner of, because I don't like doing a lot of work. I like just setting my lineups and set it, forget it, like Ron Popeil and the rotisserie cooker. Remember those infomercials?
I do remember those infomercials.
Set it and forget it. But if you don't do that in your leagues and you need a little bit of help, go to League Swipe. Let them know Peak One sent you. And
that's a great idea. I need to check out.
Go check it out. See. Like I said, I don't do complicated commissioning, but if you do, go check it out. See what they do. I haven't used it yet. A few people in the league have used it and they liked it. We won't talk about Joey. We did on one of our live Fight Companion shows. It was like the first broadcast we did when they weren't a sponsor anymore after fantasy football drafts, and then he besmirched them. And
did he now?
Well, yeah, but Joey's an idiot. All right, he thinks
good to know.
I'm the commissioner of my football league, and it's just like, yeah, but you don't need it because it's just a regular league. He's like, oh, help me with nothing. Well, I'm like, yeah, because you don't need it.
Yeah, you're not doing a cash league, so anyways, what do you expect?
Don't listen to Joey. Go to League Swipe. Also, go to bonfire.com/store/Peak One Sports, Peak One merch store. We've got the brand new Bungalow Fight Show shirt in there. I don't know why I never made one, but it's in there now. We got baseball playoffs, so you can rock the Mr. and Mr. October shirt. that's a little play on me and Joey really not being into baseball until the playoffs start.
I mean, I haven't watched a single baseball game all season. Even now, currently in playoffs, I still haven't watched a game.
I'll wait a little bit. Go there for shirts, coffee cups, if you will. Other things are in the store. Go
and I will.
It. Go check it out. See what you can get the official playoff expert shirt. That's my favorite.
There you go.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's my favorite. Or the sweep daddies. I did that one because there were so many sweeps in the NHL. I was like, we're all about sweeps. Anyways, let's get into
let's do it.
The NHL. Too early roster evaluations here. We've got through the East. The East is done. The East is in the rearview mirror.
East is over.
I think you did a fantastic job.
Oh, thank you.
With your grades. I feel like everybody but Kana was happy with the outcome of those. But now we're gonna get real close to home.
You know what? I even thought about it today too. Going, thinking like, man, was I too hard on the Wings? And then
don't do that.
But then I thought about this division because I'm having to we're having to think about what we're doing for Pacific, and the Sharks came up in my mind, and they got a guy named Filip Zadina from the Wings because the Wings refused to really keep him, and he was basically betting on himself. He's just like, no, you can release me from my contract. I'm just going to go and get more playing time somewhere else.
And he's going to get a lot in San Jose.
And I was like, Filip Zadina, that could be a really good get. Man, why did the Red Wings get rid of him? And then I
Same reason you gave him the grade they got.
I keep looking at it, and I'm just like,
making weird moves.
He was a 6th overall pick,
right?
And they needed this guy to hit, and he I guess didn't hit for them.
Yeah, but so he hit for a 6th-round pick. It's not like you're talking about a 1st-round pick that needs to be a superstar.
No, a 6th overall pick.
Oh, 6 overall.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is they needed this guy to hit. He didn't, I guess, hit for them, and then he's like, Yzerman's like, yeah, then just get rid of him, and it's like, but you got rid of him for nothing, and that's why I did what I did for the Wings, and I'm like, okay. I felt way better about it after I thought about what the Sharks did.
But look, don't worry about it, dude. Don't worry about it because the Red Wings have most players in the NHL that wear tinted visors, so they'll be fine.
Oh, they'll be great.
They'll be fine.
They'll be absolutely amazing.
Before we go any further, I want to point out this jersey I have on.
It's beautiful.
This is vintage right here.
Wonderful.
This is a jersey for a team called the Shucks. This was the first team I ever played on with Daniel here. This is right when I switched over to roller hockey. I was only playing drop-in hockey at Oak Park, and that's when I met Daniel. You were playing goalie, I think, for the drop-in games.
And I have lost a step or two in the net. Holy hell.
And then he disappeared for a few months from the drop-in games. And I'm like, man, I wonder what happened to that Daniel guy. And then all of a sudden he showed back up, and he's like, hey, guys, I got this roller hockey arena. You should come play roller hockey on my team. So I did. And it was like a team that was half Ducks fan and half Sharks fan. So he made the Shucks jersey. It's it's the Sharks with the palm leaves in the background.
Tribal Hawaiian looking shark. Yeah.
Fantastic. And might I add, championship jersey right
That's
here.
right.
We won a championship in this very jersey. Got a picture of that comes up in my Facebook memories all the time.
We were a pretty good team. We
I didn't help at all, but I was a part of it. I was like the Phil Kessel.
Weren't you 2nd on the team in points or something like that?
I don't know, but I just
a bunch of points.
I was new to roller hockey. You know what I mean? I was pretty much new to just playing hockey in general at that time. I was probably only 2 years into playing drop-in ice hockey, and then whatever. I was just happy to be there, and we won the ship.
You're doing great, man.
Anyways, best Pacific Division jersey ever made.
And it's an Eastern Conference jersey because it's an Atlanta Thrashers jersey.
Moving on. Let's start with the old Duckies.
Yeah.
Daniel's Duckies.
I guess we got to start with them because they're alphabetical, right? But
I'll go with my highlights of the roster.
Yep.
We got old Leo Carlson, Obvi. Lots going to be expected out of old Leo coming out.
And he's hurt.
He is. But, hopefully it's not a long-term thing.
Let's hope. We don't know yet.
Judd Caulfield, Adam Henrique, Alex Killorn, Jacob Silverberg, Trevor Zegras.
Love me some Trevor Z.
Cam Fowler.
Finally got himself a contract at Trevor Z.
Rob Hag, the best beard in the business, Radko Gudas.
Well, ever since Joe Thornton ain't playing right now, so
yeah. And then John Gibson between the pipes again. I'll just let you go because this is your team.
I love the Ducks. I think that's fairly obvious, especially. I mean, I am wearing the All-Star jersey today.
You should be a little. I mean, whatever the outlook of the season may be, your biggest gripe over the last month that you've been sitting in here with me has been that Zegras contract.
Yeah, Zegras and Drysdale not having contracts. They did rectify both of them.
That's what I'm saying.
They both have deals now.
You should feel a little more positive.
I feel better now. And then the big thing with it that I like about those deals is that they're not going to destroy the team financially in the future. Like, looking back on it, I was calling for an 8x8 for Zegras. I want him to have an 8x8 because I think, selfishly, I think that he's going to be a superstar, and I want to have him locked up long term.
Realistically, though, at the time.
And I mean, you look at his stats, for any reason that he doesn't pan out somehow, it's better to get him on a shorter deal with less cap committed so that you can have some flexibility in that area. And then when that contract's up, if he's proven it to the organization and to the league and to himself even, then you go and you financially commit a lot of dollars to this guy. And at the moment his contract is 3 years by 5.5, I think, something like that.
Which I think is fair for him. And like you said, it doesn't hamstring the Ducks for a long period of time. They were also able to do the Drysdale deal. Probably that had something to do with it.
I think so.
Kind of finding a middle ground between those two contracts.
But then I think that's the thing, right? Is that and for all the things I say about Pat Verbeek, the little ball of hate, he's a great guy when it comes to not compromising. This is, like, he said all along, I don't feel comfortable offering more than X amount of money. And he didn't do that. He didn't get kind of like thrown into there with the whole, like, oh, well, Zegras is going to be a star, so you pay him for what he should be.
Right.
And he's just like, no, he's not there yet. He's not a top 10 center or top 10 wing in the league.
Well, and I think also, too, like, obviously because of it being a known thing that was an issue with the Ducks, is him not getting a contract and not really seeing the rest of the league like jumping out of their socks to give him that 8x8. If a bunch of other teams are like lining up to give him in that something along those lines, then you might have seen a little different negotiation tactic.
Teams could have come in because he was a restricted free agent.
Right.
They could have come in with a contract offer. He could have accepted or denied it or whatever else. And
but I think
you rarely see it, but it is something that
I think on both ends, it may have softened up Zegras a little bit to be able to take something a little different. Verbeek kind of was like, see, I told you so.
Yeah, but
kind of
Verbeek, for what it's worth, I think he's set Zegras up to be happy in the long run.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Because he's making decent money. He's not making money that's going to piss anybody off.
I don't think he's making like where he probably should be making money in the league right now, but I think he's also making money that this player's he's never seen before. He's never seen this kind of paycheck, and he's going to be happy with the term is only 3 years.
In these 3 years,
be over and done with, and
he
it's going to be okay.
shows what he thinks he's worth, what everybody else thinks he's worth, then hopefully with the Ducks, but with whoever after those 3 years, it's 8x8 or even more.
And then the cap is going to go up too.
Right.
So if he does prove to be what everybody thinks he's going to be, then you can his contract could be 8x10.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, it's kind of a good, I think it's a good thing because it gives him the money that he needs to be happy and motivated and whatnot. But then he gives him 3 years to really show out and then garner even more, maybe. I think it's a good spot for him to be. And then Draisaitl too, I think it's a great spot for him to be.
Drysdale, my bad. Draisaitl. We are talking about Draisaitl too.
You wish.
I definitely wish. No, but Drysdale, he's in a great spot as well. They're prove it deals basically. They're going to be prove it deals, and I don't think these guys are going to be hard pressed to actually go and do such a thing as prove it. However, though, with this team, you look up and down the roster, and they have a lot, and I mean a lot of young, great talent. Like some guys that are just like most of their top forward talent and top defensive talent even are under the age of 24 years old.
Right.
This team is super, super young and super, super talented. The ceiling is absolutely here, but where they are and where their floor is almost
you're just you're in that floating area of which of these guys are going to go up and which of them are going to go down.
And it's almost like, what are you right now? You know what I mean? Like, are you a team that's going to not necessarily try and be good right now? Mm-hmm. Or are you a team that you want to go and get these guys as much experience and as much time as possible and go out there and go hard? What are you going for?
We'll call it a hopeful roster.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's a roster that could be great, and that's what you're hoping for.
I don't disagree with that. They are a hopeful roster. Mm-hmm. And adding guys like Gudis and Killorn, these are guys that are going to make it very difficult to play against.
You guys are okay. Right.
They're gonna make it extremely difficult to play against this team. Like they are angry men on the ice, and that's good because I think the Ducks got pushed around a lot.
Now
Gudis
is definitely going to help with that.
Absolutely,
and that's why he's
gonna punch people in the face. He is a pair of fists on skates, and that is okay because we need that. We need guys that can go out and be the tough guys. With the rest of the lineup, though, you have guys that maybe 5 years ago were super, super skilled and had the hands and had the vision and everything like that. Your Silfverberg, your Henrique,
Cam Fowler,
and I like Cam Fowler. I think Cam Fowler is I think he's a great leader, and I think that he's going to be a good. As long as he gets some help back there on defense, he's actually not bad. What I like about him the most is that he's billed as an offensive defenseman, but he's super, super smart in his own end.
Right.
So he's a two-way defenseman in my eyes, but in the NHL's eyes, it's like, oh, this guy's an offensive defenseman. Mm. It's like, yeah, but I mean, he's Scott Niedermayer light. Right. He can be the first one up on the rush, but then he's also the first one back.
Right. Yeah. As long as they skate back.
Yeah. Which I love about him, and he never really seems tired. Even when he's like not really feeling the best, like he's had some injury history and whatnot, but he's a great player, and I think that he's another one of those young, like not young, he's not young anymore, but like veteran leadership guys on the DN to kind of take the Drysdales and
right.
and a lot of those younger guys and
I think that's part of the when I say hopeful too. It's not just because you have these young guys that have a high ceiling. But you have older guys, more seasoned guys that still have a skill set to add to the team, but also can hopefully rub off on and help the other guys reach the ceiling.
Very much.
You know what I'm saying? What do you think about old John Gibson these days?
I love John Gibson. He's had some rough seasons as of late, and I think just chief among the reasons for why that is the fact that he's just, I think in the first give or take like 10 to 15 games of a season, he is out there and getting shelled on shots. I mean, like I think his average on shots seen a season is somewhere in the neighborhood of like 38 shots a game, which is ridiculous. Like, I mean, most goalies see 38 shots in a game where their entire defense was hurt.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you don't see those kind of numbers ever, and then you see that in John Gibson, and it's just normal.
Right.
I mean, the guy, like he has to be Superman out there for this team, and it's not possible for a guy who's right at 30
right,
to be able to do in the net anymore. It's not possible.
And still be that, like we've been talking a lot about the goalie tandems lately, and he doesn't really have that solid tandem now.
They did pick up Stalock.
Oh, that's cool. That's right.
They did pick him up free agency this year. I don't think they're aiming for Stalock to be a tandem.
No. Just in this thing.
And in fact, I think Stalock actually went. Let me just double check on this. I think Stalock was sent down, so he'll be playing in San Diego.
Right.
They are going with. They're going to go with Lucas Dostal for the backup role
right.
there.
So that's the thing is it would be nice if Gibson had a decent tandem type situation than a he's gonna go out there having to play 70 games or
on this team. I think so. But then you look at Lucas Dostal. He's 23. He's got some high upside, but he's 23. A 23-year-old can't handle this workload either.
No.
You know what I mean? Like there's no goalie that can handle this amount of just pressure and just time just spent wrecking your body with all these shots. But don't worry, you've got
Radko Gudis' beard to block some shots.
Radko Gudis is going to help, trust me. And then they also got Ilya Lyubushkin,
right?
And I like him on the defensive side of the puck. He's not going to do anything offensive, but that's fine because they have guys that should be able to do that. Lyubushkin. There's Gudis, there's Fowler, there's Drysdale, and Drysdale even is like kind of a get for the Ducks because they only had him for 6 games last year.
Right.
So when you look at that top 4, potentially it's pretty good.
Great.
In reality, where they are now, it's not great.
In the too early observation.
And this is
get us a couple months in, and then we'll.
And again, this is also coming from a guy with orange and gold tinted glasses on. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking
to my teal flavored coffee later.
But I'm looking at this team, and on paper, the team should not be as bad as it was last year, right, or as bad as what a lot of people think they're going to be. But the history that I've seen with my eyes,
it's hard to unsee.
It's really, really hard because they were rudderless last year. They were actually depressing to watch. As a Ducks fan who watched 82 of the Ducks games last year, they were depressing to see on the ice last season. It was terrible.
I'm right there with you.
And I think that's kind of the issue with this team is, what are you? Yeah. Are you a team that is okay with losing a fuck ton of games? Or are you a team that you think could surprise some people?
And that's the other thing about having that hopeful young roster is like, you don't want to lose so much that you tear away the confidence.
Yeah.
Because that's the good thing about being a young guy is that you have blind confidence sometimes, right? In your skill and whatever, and you're young and you haven't been around, you haven't been beaten down. But a season of getting beat up for 82 games will definitely wear on your confidence.
And I think that's what's happened with a guy like John Gibson is that he's such a
perfect.
And on any other team, he is a bona fide great number 1 goalie. He's been on this team that's just been listless for the last 5 years,
right? And
he can't do it himself anymore. And I think he knows that, and I think he's more than understanding that, hey, if I'm anywhere else, I have a decent shot to do something.
All right, we'll take your gold and orange hat off.
That's right.
And give him a grade. What's their grade?
It's on there pretty good. I don't know. So this team, I'd like to be that guy that can kind of give my Ducks fans a little bit of hope and say, hey, new head coach Greg Cronin, he's not what we had in the past. You know what I mean? Like he's a no nonsense kind of guy, and he is ready to build this team into what they should be. He's also come out and said before the preseason started that we are not looking to finish last. We are not trying to build further. We are looking to win games this year and compete for a playoff spot. Every head coach is going to have to say that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Every head coach is going to have to say that. He wants to keep his job. He's going to have to say that he's trying to win games. This team is bad. this team is bad, guys. They have a lot of guys that will be very, very good in the near future, but that's not right now. You have a year left of Adam Henrique at $5.825
That's a lot of money for him.
for a guy that just doesn't have
He
it
is
anymore.
handsome though, so
Oh, he's handsome. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
But him and Silverberg, 1 year left of 5.25. These guys don't have it anymore.
They won't be there next year.
And you're trying to convince me otherwise, that these guys are gonna be what we all thought they were, what we all know that they were before. I just don't see it happening. This team is not gonna win a lot of games.
He's scared to give a grade, people. He's beating around the bush.
I am. I really am. The team is probably a D plus.
Oh, that's what I guessed. I already had the D written, and I was just like, it's gonna be a plus. It's gonna be a plus.
I know.
No, hey, you know what? That's fair.
I want to give them a C minus because of what they've been doing and
But
what they've been trying to build. But that's
you
not
don't
what
want
they
Red
are.
Wings fans coming after you.
But it's not what they are, right? They're a D plus team. They're gonna finish probably 7th in the division.
Maybe not, man. It's hockey.
Yeah.
Stranger things have happened.
Who knows, man?
All right, moving on to the Calgary Flames
This team is interesting.
with names such as Mike Backlund, Jonathan Huberdeau, Nazem Kadri, Elias Lindstrom, Andy Mangiapane, Mangiapane, whatever.
Very Italian. Mangiapane.
Adam Ruzicka.
Is that racist? Should I not?
No. He can't be racist against Italians. Their food's too good.
Food's way too good.
Rasmus Anderson, Noah Hannafin, Jordan Osterley, Mackenzie Weegar, Jacob Markstrom between the pipes. Kind of very similar just to last season. A lot of the same names.
Yeah, they didn't really add or subtract much there. I think the one big talking point that we got to talk about, honestly, though, with this team is not even player personnel. It's coaching. They went from from somebody who is just an absolute mortuary assistant behind the bench to Ryan Huska,
right?
Who I don't have much on, to be honest with you. I don't have much in the way of knowing what it is that he brings or what experience it is that he has, but fuck, man, anybody's got to be better than Suter. Holy crap.
Yeah, I having like Ron Wilson as the Sharks coach for a lot of my early 20s, and when I was just real rabid sports fan.
Yep.
And he's just always
zero deadpan emotion. Just he was nothing.
It's really hard, especially in a sport like hockey that is fast and aggressive, and then your coach is just
just give him nothing, man. You give him
I'm just
nothing.
like, how does that motivate? You know what I mean? Like not that I'm a coach, but like out there with my hockey team, I might be a little too aggro and loud and whatever sometimes, you know what I mean? But see, I balance the constructive criticism with positivity when we do something good.
And see,
you know what I mean? Like,
and you always have been that. You've been that
I'll never
guy.
be straight up mean, but I will yell out my constructive criticism. But then when you do something good, I'm yelling even louder.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Way louder.
So it's just like when you have a coach, it's just nothing. You're getting nothing out of him. I find it so unmotivating.
Yeah.
That I don't know how they do it sometimes.
Well, and you see that press conference he did towards the probably like middle part of the season, like a little before trade deadline. They had that rookie come up, right? A rookie forward come up. Forget his name, and he was playing, first game, first thing, and it was like he was real excited to be there. He's just happy to be a part of the team and everything, and they do a press conference afterward, and they're talking to Sutter, and they're like, "Hey, so what did you think about the rookie's first game?" And he's like, "What rookie are you talking about now?" Like, it's like, "Hey, this guy," and he's like, grabs a stat sheet, and he's like, "What number was he?"
It's like,
he's like, what number?
The
was he?
only story of this game, like, you know what I mean? Like,
he's like, he had 9 minutes ice time, average about 30 seconds a shift.
yeah, we weren't talking about his stats,
like,
dude.
No points,
like,
no goals, 2 shots on goal, and I think he's got a long way to go. And it's just like,
okay,
it's like, dude, what the hell?
Yeah, that's what I mean. You know, like
it was a softball question. It was honestly like, here's the question,
and it's like
make
you said,
something out of it.
We don't need
right?
the stats. It's just like, what are you feeling as a coach about your young player?
It's like, just be
that you
be
felt
a
the need to bring up tonight.
Be a normal person and just be like, you know, he's got a long way to go. Maybe he wasn't super impressive, but he was, but he's out there, he's doing what he's got to do. You know, like be nice.
There's
you know,
certain coaches like,
no, he's just like, he's got no time for any of this, and he doesn't need to be here. You know,
and there's certain coaches that just hate press conferences and hate the media and all that, like Bill Belichick, right? His players will always tell you that he's different in the locker room, different on the practice field and things like that, and he just hates the press conference and hates having to answer for his actions or the team, you know, and he does that whole stupid thing. But then there's guys like Suter, there's guys like Ron Wilson, there's coaches where you're just like, no, this is who you are 24/7. So, like, how, like, I guess you're just banking on your assistant coaches to be the cheerleader? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know what it is, man. But I mean, like, when you look up and down at this team last season and the roster that they had, keep in mind, this team lost 17 games in overtime.
Right.
17 games. Bro, half of those games go the other way. That team's in the playoffs.
Right.
And then Sutter still got his job.
And maybe if Sutter was a little more animated during the overtime period.
But it's like that's what I'm talking about, right? It's like, this team should not be as bad as they were.
No.
They were joyless.
Right.
Like we talked just now about the Ducks and about how they were rudderless and they were depressing. They were not joyless. They were still having a good time.
Exactly. And
even though they were losing, you know, Zegers and Terry were still having a great time. Like I think both of them had like 60 points or something, which is crazy to me because, like, on a team that did not have that many good games and didn't win a game. The Ducks, by the way, haven't won a game since February.
We're not talking about the Ducks anymore, Daniel.
I am sorry.
We're talking about the joyless Flames, not the happy loser Ducks.
So, like, just like I'm saying, the Flames had no reason to lose as many games as they did, but they were just,
I swear,
joyless.
It has something to do with that.
They
dude.
did not have a good
unless you
time
have, like,
at the hockey rink.
And unless you have, like, guys in the locker room that kind of fill that void of, you know what I mean, for you. And that's the thing, like, I'll bring it to my Sharks, is like, for being losers for so many years, a guy like Joe Thornton, a guy like they just had a locker room full of guys who always had smiles on their faces. Like, Patrick Marleau wasn't out there doing stand-up comedy, but he always had a smile on his face.
He was never unhappy.
He was, exactly. You know, if you're gonna have Ron Wilson as a coach who's not adding anything to the,
which I think is why Marleau was such a great captain,
right? Because he filled that void. But let's hope that the Flames have a different story. Well, let's hope not, because I don't know.
Now, one thing about the Flames that I will bring up, I mean, their team is largely the same from last year. Thing that I'm very questionable about is Jacob Markstrom.
I was just gonna bring him up,
dude.
I was looking at a list of, like, ranking the goalie tandems in the league, and Markstrom, even though having the stats that he has, which he's a top goalie in the league, if you're just looking at it on paper or whatever.
Well, especially by cap hit, he's making $6 million for the next 6 years.
Yeah,
3 years. 3 years.
He was very low on the list for a guy making that much money, as far as, like, you know, projecting what the goalie tandems are going to look like this season, or goalie pairs. I shouldn't say tandem.
Yeah.
He's not going to have a tandem. He's going to have a backup. But
he's got Dan Vladar. It's not a tandem for him.
But I don't know. Yeah, he's my biggest question mark for that team, because obviously their roster is good. Their roster is freaking
There's
solid.
nothing wrong with their roster. But you look up and down, Mackenzie Weegar, Noah Hannafin, or even Rasmus Anderson, Christopher Tanev. Like, their defense is stout. Their offense,
Mangiapane.
Yeah, Mangiapane on the offense. They've got Mangiapane. They got Nazem Kadri. They got Huberdeau.
That's what I'm saying. One of Daniel's parafist with skates, Nazem Kadri. You got to have one of those guys, and they got one of those guys. They've got Backlund.
They've got Backlund, who is now the captain,
right?
And who is just a great vibes guy, honestly. Elias Lindholm out there. They picked up Sharon Govich, which he is going to be so good for this team, and he was buried on a team in New Jersey with just young talent, and Serengovich is going to be fun to watch in Calgary.
But I think Markstrom is the biggest question mark on this team. Markstrom, and then obviously the new coach, and kind of just seeing how that all plays out. But I think Markstrom's a bigger question mark.
I mean, for the coaching, it's almost like you can't be worse than Sutter.
Exactly.
You can't, like, all you have to do is just pick people
act
up when
like you
they're down.
Care.
Yeah. you just have to be present, and you're better than Sutter.
Like
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
It's so easy to be better than this guy.
Act like you care when you lose, and act like you're happy when you win.
Yeah,
and then you're one step up already.
And then for what it is with Calgary, that's the only question mark that I see right now is their goaltending. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the so I watch a show that I don't think is coming back this year for the new season, but is on Sportsnet, their YouTube channel. Is a thing called Steve's Dangits, and every week they go over where NHL players made really stupid decisions. Jacob Markstrom was on Dangits 19 times for playing the puck directly to a member of the other team.
Right.
Bro, 19 goals a goalie was
$6 million a year
responsible for. Like, I'm sorry.
You can't do that.
You can't do that and not be who you are as a starting goalie.
$6 million a year. $6 million a year.
The guy that the team is just.
Yeah, everybody's allowed mistakes, but when you're making that much money and you have that much,
when you decide to not learn from those mistakes,
right? 19.
I see it where you get like maybe once or twice or whatever. You think like yeah, I can go out and play this. I'm not bad at playing the puck. I can go and do this. After the third time, it's just I need to stop doing this.
Just cover it.
Yeah. It's like maybe I work on this in practice or something, and then I come back when I feel a little bit more confident in it.
No,
he just did it with no thought.
Like it never happened before.
And it's just like, buddy, like you can't do that.
So what grade do the Flames get?
The Flames, let's be honest with ourselves. The Flames, what they were last season is not going to be the same thing this season. And people were expecting before the season started last year for them to win the cup.
Right.
Like this is a team that has all of the tools to do the job. Yeah. Their coach made it so bad for them, and then the fact that they could not close out a game when they needed to and lost 17 games in overtime. These are reasons that the Flames were where they were. I don't expect them to be great because look at the division. Right? You've got Edmonton, you've got LA, even you've got Vegas, and it's not. I mean, fuck Seattle even. Like the league, the division is not an easy division by any means.
Conference,
the conference too, even, but solely the division, with the exception of our two teams, there is no walk there. Like you're gonna be fighting these teams a lot for wins. So I find that Calgary has every opportunity to make the playoffs, but they are going to be fighting for probably that second wild card spot. I see them in fourth in the division, and I rate them honestly just because of their goaltending. This could be way higher, but I see them at a B+. B minus. Sorry, B minus.
I think that's fair.
Their goaltending is a question mark. If Markstrom fixes himself this year, it's easily a B+. You look like you want to say something.
No, I agree. Are
you sure?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay.
I agree. That's fair. Moving on to this joke of a team. The Edmonton Oilers.
Team one line.
We've got Connor McDavid. Leon Draisaitl.
Absolutely.
Good old wild card Evander Kane, Ryan McLeod, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Connor Brown,
the Nuge,
Evan Bouchard, Matthias Ekholm, Mark Niemelainen, Darnell Nurse, Stu Skinner between the pipes. Same. I mean, again, kind of same roster.
This team didn't lose a whole lot.
They didn't have a reason to really make a whole lot of moves. You know what I mean?
They basically took out Kailer Yamamoto and replaced him with Connor Brown.
Right.
Here's the thing with Edmonton. It's a lot of the same with Calgary. They have a team that there's no reason why they can't do the thing, because they have two of probably the best superstars in this entire league on the same team.
Right.
You've got McDavid and Draisaitl. I mean, that alone is 60 wins. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And on a team with a Connor McDavid, you have Leon Draisaitl.
Exactly.
And it's like, who's arguably better.
Yeah. I mean, God, the team is just so lousy with forwards. You know what I mean? Like, they're so good, but really they're only lousy with those two forwards. But
I mean,
it's like,
that's
but it's
not,
like you have a Connor McDavid on one line. That's your whole line. It doesn't matter who he's playing with. He could play with Devin Shore. You know who Devin Shore is? Not a lot of people do.
No, but it doesn't matter who Devin.
But it's just like he'll play with him, and they'll still be great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They also have Leon Draisaitl. You put him on any line, and anybody is going to look good next to Leon Draisaitl. So their 1 and 2 lines are great no matter who they put on there. But then they also have the fact that they have Zach Hyman, they have Evander Kane, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Connor Brown should not be bad. He's had a rough last season with injuries and whatnot, but he's should not be bad. He was good where he was, right? And now you put him on a team with these guys that are just going to make everybody around them so good. It's just like, come on, the team.
But the problem is like you can't really get much better than you were last year.
Exactly.
So that's going to be the story of the whole thing is like what.
But
what do they do?
This is their issue in a nutshell. Everything other than the forwards is suspect.
Right. That's true.
What is their defense?
It's like that defense drop off thing we talked about.
What is their defense? They have Ekholm. They got him from Nashville, right? Mm-hmm. Ekholm, great pickup. He's not going to play 82 games.
No.
He's too fragile at this point. He's not going to play any of the back-to-backs at all. He's best case scenario is what, 70 games?
I think that's best case scenario.
Is that best case? Like, that's got to be best case scenario for him. So then after Ekholm, who do you have? You have Darnell Nurse.
Right.
Dude, Darnell Nurse is aggravating on defense. I mean, aggravating on defense. This guy cannot, for a guy that makes, holy shit, how much does he make? $9 million?
He makes a ton of money for, I mean, I don't know. I can't even really say age with him, but it just seems like...
I'm pulling up the cap friendly right now. I'm going to tell you exactly how much this guy makes. Darnell Nurse makes $9.25 million for 7 more years. The dude's 28. He's got a 7-year deal.
That's insane.
Good
That's insane
Lord.
For when you say the name Darnell Nurse in front of that number.
I mean, like, trust me, Darnell Nurse he's got upside, and this is technically his prime right now.
Right.
He can score pretty frequently, but on a team with Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
You need to play defense because that's where you line up. You're on defense, and you can't play defense.
I think a little, like, when it comes to the Oilers, obviously I've never been a huge fan being a Pacific Division team, but it's like,
you'd be crazy to be a fan.
They just like have that curse of like the Browns having a first round pick every year for like almost a decade. Mm-hmm. And it's like nothing to show for it. And I mean, at least now, like obviously last year they were, one of the best teams in the league standings wise or whatever.
I mean, if the Browns ever had a Connor McDavid in the draft, right? Like if they were able to pick up somebody like a Peyton Manning, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
but still, maybe Peyton's career would have been way different if he ended up with the Browns.
It's quite possible.
Like
who knows?
It's really hard. It just seems like in history, all these, in whatever sport, it's like you have a team that gets these high picks. Because, I mean, obviously they've gotten rid of quite a few over the years, but it's
Everly,
like
Hall.
McDavid, Draisaitl, Everly, Hall, Nugent Hopkins. Like, I mean, he's still there, but obviously on the way back end.
And he's not depended on to be that number one guy like everybody thought he was going to be.
It's just they used to make documentary specials about the Edmonton Oilers and who they were going to pick. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? For a while, and it was
for a club that is rooted in so much history. I mean, the team that had Coffey, Gretzky, Messier, Grant Fuhr was their keeper in the 80s. And for anybody who says Grant Fuhr is not as good of a goalie as any of the other goalies in the Hall of Fame, bro, look at what era he played in. Holy hell.
It's just, I mean, the Oilers gonna Oiler, dude. I just don't see it going any different than it has.
I would very much agree with you, and here's the absolute kicker for why they don't get past the second round in my mind. They will make playoffs because of course they fucking will.
Yeah, of course.
Their goaltending is Stuart Skinner and Jack Campbell.
Right.
Guys.
Yeah, on that list I was talking about the goalie duos of the NHL, they were second to last only to Capo Kakinen and Mackenzie Blackwood of the Sharks. So if that tells you anything, a team that is definitely not making the playoffs versus a team that's definitely going to make them, and most people think that they should have either already won a cup or still might, it's not going to happen because of that.
No. And guys, the Oilers, man.
Maybe if you weren't paying Darnell Nurse $9 million, you could get a decent goaltender.
It's such a bad deal. It was a bad deal when it was signed. Oh my God, they thought bringing in Jack Campbell was going to be the end of it. It's like, we're going to get Jack Campbell, we're going to start him, he's going to be great. He had a defense in Toronto.
Yeah,
that's why he was good.
Well, and it's just top heavy offense. And
you know what Jack Campbell's save percentage was last season in the regular season?
What?
.893. That is unusable. Not even for a backup.
You know,
and I think
that's like a backup where you're like, okay, we're fine with losing this game.
You want to hear what's even worse? Jack Campbell didn't start a game in the playoffs. You know what Stuart Skinner's save percentage was in the playoffs? 888.
Yeah,
that is so pathetic.
You can have an A+ on the rest of your roster, but when your goaltender numbers are like that doesn't bode well.
If both of those goalies don't have a resurgence this year, this team's hoofed. This team's absolutely hoofed. They get into the playoffs, it's round one, you're done.
That's more than a resurgence. That's like a career. You got to turn your whole career around with numbers like that. Yeah. That's, like you said, that is unusable goalie numbers.
It's terrible.
Yeah, and that's not just had an off season. No, that's you get cut.
Those are like roller hockey goalie numbers, which are very good in roller hockey goalie numbers.
Right, because there's
this is not roller hockey.
All right, what do they get? What is Edmonton? What's their grade, dude? Are they on the honor roll?
You know what's funny to me? This team overall on the roster, because they have McDavid and Draisaitl, you know the team should be.
Hey, don't forget Evander Kane, dude.
Oh yeah, don't forget Evander Kane. The guy
he plays the dirt league. He plays the dirt league like us in the offseason.
The guy that, let's be honest, Evander Kane.
Why is he still on a roster?
I don't get why he's still on a roster. But if you want to be very, very real with Evander Kane and his track record, this is his third year on the Oilers. Technically, every time he's been on a team, the third year is where he starts being an asshole.
Oh yeah,
and like weeding himself out of the locker room.
Yeah, everybody hates him.
So like, it's an off chance that he does it because obviously McDavid and Draisaitl are not
gonna let that happen.
They're not gonna
let him ruin the team.
Exactly, they're not gonna allow the locker room to get destroyed.
Right.
But if history has shown us anything, which it has,
he gets a little bored in year number 3.
If worst case scenario for him, he's off the team, and then all of a sudden they have to try to figure out how to replace him.
They'd probably rather have Rafi Torres back, dude.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, shoot, you need somebody to protect McDavid anyway. The team as a whole, even with those two superstar players, is a B.
Right. And I think a lot of that is that Skinner drop off.
But that's what I'm saying, right? As soon as you get past those two guys, what are you?
What do you got?
You've got nothing left.
Yeah.
Especially your goaltending. Mm-hmm. You're a B team at most. But this is the crazy part. A B team is going to compete for the division lead.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be them and probably Vegas. And I only think they win the division and go in as the number 1 seed because I don't think it matters that much to Vegas to win the division. No. I don't think they give a shit that much.
They just want to get in.
They just want to get in
and do work.
It's like if they finish 4th in the division but somehow make playoffs, it's go time from then on at that point for Vegas.
Yeah.
But for Edmonton, I think they want all of the success.
And that's the only success they have had is having a fantastic regular season coupled with a disappointing.
They might even be as good as the Bruins were last year.
The Toronto of the West.
And they are going to absolutely shit the bed in the playoffs. Like this team will make playoffs as the 1 or 2 seed in the Pacific.
It's been said too many times by us and everybody else. It's like as much as goaltending matters in the regular season, it matters tenfold in the playoffs.
But then in the playoffs, it's a completely different game because you get away with murder in the playoffs. That's why McDavid and Draisaitl are not as effective in the playoffs. I say that knowing that Draisaitl has like the most goals of anybody that's ever played in the playoffs ever, or something like that. He's ridiculous, but it's just like
when you're out in round 1 or 2, you're done.
He can't do everything when he's getting destroyed out there and there's no call.
Yeah, you can only get destroyed for 1 series, and then even if you advance, the next series is a lot different.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. California, the Los Angeles Kings.
They need to go back to that logo.
I love that logo. It's one of my faves. Dude.
That's Wes's logo for fantasy hockey.
Nice. Oh, yeah. All right, what do we got here? We've got a little bit of Victor Arvidsson, Quentin Byfield, Kevin Fiala, Adrian Kempe, Anze Kopitar, Trevor Lewis, Drew Doughty, Tobias Bjornfot, Vladislav Gavrikov.
Good pickup.
Cam Talbot in the crease.
And Phoenix Copley, more than likely.
Yeah.
The kid from North Pole, Alaska.
So, again, they got that Gavrikov pickup. What I think King,
Well, let's not forget about Pierre-Luc Dubois.
I didn't put him on here. You're right. Pierre-Luc Dubois. I mean, I hate the Kings.
We both hate the Kings with a fiery passion. Like this, I was dreading. They can trade for Connor
McDavid. I'll give him an F. Dude.
I was dreading talking
Cam Talbot sucks
about this whole team because it's just like I don't have anything good to say about them because I just don't like them. But in all honesty, if you look up and down their team, they're not a bad team.
Roster-wise, they're not bad, but I feel like Kopitar makes too much money.
It pains me to say that.
It
pains.
But that's the thing with them. It's been a long time since they've had a arguably bad roster.
Yeah, it's been a while.
You know what I mean? So, but the success isn't there anyway. So it's not like I'm not impressed by it.
They were a great team back in the early 2010s and whatnot. You know, when they were battling
the Aught 10s.
Yeah, the Aught 10s.
Yeah,
when they were battling the Blackhawks for championships and everything. Right. And it's like and
they got one. So
they got two.
They got two.
They got two. And I mean, like, you know, whatever. They're
Go
good.
Home.
They're always going to be a tricky good team. And with guys like Quentin Byfield, they're moving him to the wing this year. I think he's slotted to play on the top line, which is probably not where he belongs, but you know, I mean,
why not?
Not a bad idea. Then they got, you know, I mean, steady as steady can get. They got Anze Kopitar in the middle, and he's one of those guys that if you see him hanging around in like our fantasy league is a 20-team league, which is massive.
Right.
But like if you see him hanging around in the 3rd or 4th round, it's like you snap that guy up because that's like 600 face-off wins right there.
Right.
The guy's ridiculous still. He's a great leader. You know, the team on its own is not bad and whatnot. Though I have questions. And I think it's the same questions that the Kings are asking themselves in the offseason, but they don't necessarily have a good answer for. They're kind of working on it still. Goaltending. You have Talbot, who I'm assuming at this point that the Kings are looking to go 1A, 1B. right? Like they're not looking to have a one and a backup. They're looking to do the tandem thing like Carolina's doing and whatnot.
Right,
and they're going with Talbot and Copley. Copley was serviceable last season and he did well. The kid from North Pole, Alaska, homegrown, basically. You drafted him. You're going to bring him up. He's going to be that guy. Okay, good. What is Talbot to you, though? Because Talbot is not what he was in 2015.
No.
I mean, he was good then.
Right, but that's 10 years ago.
But he was also not the guy that's like, I'm going to hang my hopes on Cam Talbot.
Not even back then.
Plus, this guy is like riddled with injuries. Like,
Right.
he's healthy now.
Copley's going to get a lot of time.
Copley's going to get a lot of time. But like I'm saying, Talbot's healthy now. He cannot play 41 games a season. I don't think he has 41 games in him.
No, I don't think so. He barely had 41 games in him in 2015. Like
25 games at most, I think. And what are you doing with those other games? Who's your third goalie?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know who their third goalie
I mean,
is.
they just got to pray that Copley like blows the doors off the place. You know what I mean?
And it's this reason that I'm just so concerned with this team's back end.
Right.
Drew Doughty absolutely. but Drew Doughty, great defenseman. They've got some great pieces. Now,
Right.
Another big question mark with this team is what is Pierre-Luc Dubois doing to the locker room? Because as it's what we said about Evander Kane, Pierre-Luc Dubois has not really worked where he's gone.
Right.
In Columbus, he was a distraction, and he purposefully played like shit to get traded.
Right.
He got traded to Winnipeg, and immediately when he was in Winnipeg, he's like, I'm trying to go to Montreal. I don't want to be here. I want to play in Montreal. It's just like, what are you doing, dude?
Just play.
Yeah, it's like, and you're in like your third or fourth year in the league. Like you're a restricted free agent. You have no rights.
Right.
Like play more, get rights. You know what I mean? And then he's like, last season he was like, I want to be traded. I can't be here in Winnipeg. Mm-hmm. And everybody thought like he's gonna go to Montreal because that's where he's wanted to go this whole time. And then he's like, no, I'll go to LA. And it's like, but all this time you've been saying you want to go to Montreal, and it's like,
I, as a GM or as a coach or as a whatever, it's like, even though he's still young in his career or whatever, it's just like, why do you even want that guy?
I don't take that guy.
You know what I mean? Like,
when I play NHL 24 and play in NHL 24 right now because it's it's great. Me too. It's actually not a great game, but I love pretending that I'm a GM.
Yeah, of course.
I go through all the like the free agent guys and everything, and it's just like, ooh, I could get this guy. He's like a 90 overall. This would be great. I have plenty of cap space. I'll get him. And then I look at the scouting report and it says, like can be selfish at times, whatever. It's just like loyalty is a concern. I'm like, I pass that guy immediately.
And that's just,
I never picked that guy up
to a T, obviously, because from the beginning of his career, he was edging to get out of where he was and go somewhere else. And it's
he's a Quebecer, Quebec-born kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he wants to play in Montreal because that's his hometown team. He
it's
wants to play for the Habs.
Sports. You don't get what you want.
And I get it.
You get what you get.
I mean, like, if we were both good enough to play in the NHL, which is not happening, but if we were both good enough to do it, well,
hey, dude,
for me, I'm not going to be able to do it. I've tried for a while. I can't do it. No,
okay.
I'm terrible. But if I was to be able to play in the NHL,
I get what you're saying. You want to play for your favorite team.
Say I got drafted by Detroit. I don't want to play for the Red Wings, but I can't tell the Red Wings. No,
you'd put
I
on
don't
that,
want to play for you.
You'd put on that tinted face mask,
right?
And you'd go out there and do your best.
Exactly.
To try to get noticed by the Ducks.
When I'm a free agent, hopefully the Ducks come calling.
You'd be out there. Like at PE when you're running track and that girl you like strike up in the bleachers, and every time you run past her, you run a little bit faster, a little bit. It's that girl's the Ducks. And you're just like, see me?
See me?
No, look, no, you don't just outright go, I'm going to play like crap so I can get traded. Because then, or go to the next team and immediately say you want to go somewhere else. It's just like, well, what makes you think that the team you want to go to is going to like that type of attitude?
And they gave up a haul to get him. They gave up a lot of
arguably
guys
he's a good
to
player,
get this dude.
But like we've said a million times, like
arguably he's a great guy, and you know what? That's going to be
room chemistry is a big deal.
That's going to be their number 2 center, and that's awesome because you've got Kopi as your number 1, and now you've got Dubois as your number 2. I just wonder.
You just gotta hope he ends up really wanting to be there.
How long does it take for him to just go? I still miss Quebec.
He must. You just hope he loves that California sun and he gets addicted, and then he'll just want to be there.
And I think their questions in net and their questions with their number 2 center PLD is enough for me to say that this team has some issues internally.
All right. What grade do they get?
I'm going against my better judgment. I'm giving them a B-, because they still have some decent pieces there, and their wealth of young talent is still good enough to get them close to a playoff spot. But here's the thing. I don't see them making playoffs.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Again,
not
this is me
division.
with orange and gold tinted glasses on.
But
However,
it's also a division with the Oilers, the Flames, Vegas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seattle. I don't see them getting past those teams.
Ask yourself this question: are they better than Edmonton?
No.
Are they better than Vegas?
No.
No. Are they better than Seattle?
No.
Arguably, but probably not.
Yeah.
Are they better than Vancouver? Possibly.
Right. That's where it starts to get.
Are they better?
Fit right in there. But,
and then are they better than Calgary? And I'll be honest, I don't think they're better than Calgary.
Yeah, especially if Markstrom does.
If Markstrom plays better, I just don't see it. I just don't see it working.
Right.
I see him finishing in the 5th.
Let's do this next one real quick because I don't want to talk about it very much. The San Jose Sharks.
I'm going to spend a lot of time on this team.
They've definitely got a roster.
They have a roster.
I mean, what kind of roster that is, I'll let Daniel tell you. But they have the likes of Alex Barabanov, Ryan
Good
Carpenter, Logan Couture, Anthony Duclair, William Eklund.
I have him on my team.
Michael
Anthony Duclair.
Granlund, Tom Hurdle, Phil Zadina, Kevin LeBanc, Mario Ferraro, Mark-Edward Vlasic, and that tandem everybody's waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
Capo Kakinen and Mackenzie Blackwood between the pipes. What do you think?
I will be gentle.
I don't care.
The team.
They've got spots of guys where you're just like, I hope that guy sticks around for a little bit for the rebuild.
Yeah.
Like Zadina, guys like that, where you're like, I hope they aren't bad enough to where they don't want to just leave immediately.
I mean, buddy, I'll be honest though, the team. A lot of people are looking at how bad this team is going to be. Like every pundit out
Sharks
there
on the bottom. Sharks
is
on the
saying
bottom.
Sharks finish 32 in the league, and it's just like, come on, guys. Like I just don't see it. I don't see them finishing that badly. They're not that bad a team when you look at them.
They'll probably be bottom 5.
Oh yeah, no,
but,
I don't see them.
like,
I don't see them competing for a playoff spot.
No, not at all.
But it's the same thing with the Ducks, right? It's like I don't see them being dead last either. Like, if in all honesty, I think dead last is probably Ottawa. Like just me looking at the rosters and everything, I don't find Ottawa that compelling at all. But the way that I'm looking at this, man, like. There's nothing really wrong with San Jose.
It's just a little disjointed and just a lot of new guys playing with new guys.
Other than the fact that they have some contracts that are kind of going to be albatrosses, I think. They've got Logan Couture. He signed to too much money. They've got Tomas Hertl. He signed to too much money.
Did you see, though, that they are taking trade offers for both of those gentlemen?
I did see that, and I just don't think that they're going to be able to get anything for him. You know what I mean? Like, unless they're willing to compromise and basically like either retain salary or only bring back like a fourth for these guys. Like I don't see them being able to ship out these contracts. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't see it happening. The team itself is just kind of meh. Yeah. You know what I mean?
No, I mean you have like obviously Barabanov.
Barabanov's great,
he's
and
great.
I think he's going to be great even longer.
The Duclair pickup, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've got
Duclair's good. Hoffman, good.
They've got guys that's what I'm saying. It's just disjointed, not a lot of cohesion.
And you've got a guy who's essentially your team's leader and your number one center. I'm assuming number one center, honestly, is Logan Couture, and he's hurt, so that hurts a little bit. But then you got young talent, William Eklund. He's going to be pretty good. Yeah, I can't wait to see what he does. And a lot of people are not high on this goaltending tandem. I am.
I'm excited about it. I'm excited. I mean, Kakinen. I mean, The Sharks were what they were last season, so you can't really like put too much stock in whether he was good or bad and how big of a problem he has. But then Blackwood, people don't like him. I don't know. I kind of liked him in New Jersey.
I don't mind the guy, honestly. You know what I mean? I think his whole thing is he can't stay healthy.
Right.
But at 41 games, I honestly see him making most of those 41
Especially
games.
If they're spread out. You know what I mean? And
you give Kakinen some games, you give Blackwood some games, and I think the both of them can get around 35 games apiece.
I think this is a year just for a lot of guys to like individual performance year. Go out there and do what you can do. Work on your game.
Yeah.
And as far as the goaltenders, fight it out. Who gets the number one spot next season? Kind of a thing.
Now again, like I'm saying, I don't see this team being as bad as a lot of people are saying. But if you pay attention to what I said about the Ducks, I had them finishing 7th in the division.
Right.
Which means somebody has to finish underneath them. Unfortunately, I do think it's going to be San Jose.
No.
And it's not me. Maybe it is me with my glasses.
Okay.
Maybe it is me with my Ducks glasses. But still, I think honestly the team itself is a decent team, and they're going to be in a lot of games, but they're also going to lose a lot of games, and I think by probably 1, by 2.
I'm like Bane,
that kind of thing.
Like, I was born in the darkness. I was born a loser. You can't offend me.
As a Ducks fan, I agree with you there too, because we were both born losers.
You guys have lifted a cup before, so
that we have. It's still so tasty.
So just back off. All right, what grade are you giving these damn Sharks?
I give the Sharks a D+, same as my Ducks.
Fair.
I don't find them as horrendous as Anaheim, honestly, but I find that they have a lot of question marks that I don't know if we can really fully answer right now.
Agreed. Seattle Kraken.
Love them.
Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, Oliver Borkstrand, Andre Burakovsky, Jordan Eberle, Yanni Gord, Jared McCann, Jaden Swartz, Brandon Tanev, Kyler Yamamoto, Vince Dunn, Brian Dumoulin, Justin Schultz, Philip Grubauer. What are these Kraken going to do? They did much better than many people expected last season.
And you know what?
Their playoff performance.
With the Kraken, it's funny because they're a team that is they're very interesting to me. They last season made playoffs and not like close either. Like they were in the playoffs. They were in the hunt the entire time. They were a great team. They had 7 players with 30 points, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's ridiculous. Like the
young talent on that team is nuts.
And everything they did, and they did all that basically without Shane Wright.
And Shane Wright
crazy,
just got put down to the minors.
Yeah, he went back to the minors, which is nuts to me.
I will say this as a bitter Western Conference OG. They did change the rules of the we'll call it an expansion draft.
Oh my God,
but I might as well call it a fantasy draft.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
For Vegas.
Yeah, it was changed for Vegas. It was changed for Seattle. So now both teams are instantly competitive. Which
instantly,
honestly, for the NHL standpoint, that's a great way to be.
Of course it is.
It's awesome because
not for me.
No, not for me or you. I mean, shoot, even Tampa. Like Tampa came in same situation as we had. You know what I mean? It's just like we were bad for a long time. I am surprised Anaheim still has a team sometimes. You know, looking at
I think both
how
of our
bad
teams
have
have had stretches where you're like, oh, they're gonna take it away. Like they're gonna take it away.
Like as soon as the Disney sold Anaheim to the Samuelis and whatnot, I was just like, oh my God, they're gonna move them. They're gonna move them somewhere. Where are they gonna move them? I don't know.
I think the one bright spot as California hockey teams is the same thing I was saying about Pierre-Luc Dubois and wanting to go to Montreal and then saying I'll go to LA. Is once those Canadians get a taste of that California weather, they move their whole family here.
That's true.
Like there's a reason.
Here, Arizona, you know.
But Arizona weather sucks. It's too damn hot.
That's true.
All right,
that's true. But the golfing is great.
You come to the Bay Area, you go to Orange County, and you're used to living in the Great White North,
shoveling snow every like
and then
7
you're like,
months.
oh, I can send my kids to private school in the sunshine in December. Like, and then your wife shows up, and then she's just like, "Oh yeah, we're not going." Like, even if you get traded, we're staying here.
It's like,
There's like every Sharks player that's played in at San Jose for more than 5 years, they might move on, but they're back in the offseason because their family ain't going nowhere.
That was what Marlowe did, right?
Marlowe
spent his whole career here. And it's like, I want to go try to win a cup. I'm going to go to Pittsburgh. They're like, bye.
See ya.
See you later. We'll be here.
No, that's just how it is, and it's that weather. It's just, you know, say what you will about California, but once you live here for a minute, it's hard to go anywhere else.
Exactly.
Anyways.
We're talking about Seattle,
We're talking
Washington.
about the depressing, rainy climate of Seattle. I mean, yeah, dude, I love their roster. They're one of my favorite rosters to look at on paper.
I love looking at their roster because it's so balanced. Everything about it, they have scoring on every line, all the way from 1 to 4. They have scoring. They have the ability to score. They have the ability to fight. They're great 1 through 4. They're even great 1 through 3 on the defensive end. Their defense does not look bad any way that you slice it. They're not overall standout amazing players.
No, but it's kind of one of those probably why they did well in the playoffs last year. It's like a good playoff roster,
balanced
because of balance.
Extremely well.
You're not top heavy like Edmonton. You're not.
But then,
like that.
but then their problems are a lot like a lot of the other teams in this division. What is their goaltending?
Right.
Grubauer, last 2 seasons in Seattle, has been awful. But this team got 30 wins out of an old, decrepit Martin Jones.
Hey, dude, don't you say that. Don't you say that about Martin Jones, man. He played for the Sharks, dude.
Buddy, I like Martin Jones as much as anybody else. Let's be honest with ourselves. What done. Martin Jones is, he's washed.
He's definitely washed.
The Leafs sent him to the Marlies. That's what I'm talking about.
Well,
like, Joseph Woll beat out Martin Jones.
With that being said about Grubauer and whatnot, with a decrepit Martin Jones and a subpar Grubauer, they still did what they did last season.
Which is nuts.
If they can copy that and or pick up another solid goaltender, either as a backup or somebody to take over,
maybe they'll be in on at the deadline.
Right.
I hate to say it because it is what it is, but I mean, at the deadline, you are going to hear a bunch of people coming out and going, "Where does John Gibson go? Where does John Gibson go? Where does Connor Hellebuck go?" Because like both teams are in a similar spot. Well, the Jets are way better than the Ducks, but you look at it and it's just like, okay, so where do these top-notch goalies go that they're going to have a chance to win?
I just haven't heard. Usually, you hear the rumor mill stirring.
I mean, you'll hear it more this season.
No, I just meant from the team who needs something.
Yeah.
But I guess that goes with trying to take Grubauer's confidence away before the season even starts. But it's like they're in my division, so I don't wish them any luck whatsoever.
No.
But if they do get that piece, they're
but that's
tough.
what I'm saying is you get one goalie that can shut the door, because I mean, it was supposed to be Grubauer. Right. In the expansion draft, it was supposed to be him. He's not panned out in 2 years, and I don't think he's going to pan out this year. But in the trade deadline, you get one guy. You get that guy.
Yeah.
Fuck, man, they're going to be tough to beat.
So what do they get, dude? They're going to get a high one, I bet.
I like them a lot, man. I mean, the team is so overall balanced. It's just the goaltending that's a question. Because of the goaltending, they could be an A team. But because of the goaltending, I have to give them a B+.
That is fair.
And I see them finishing probably about 4th in the division, and I see them fighting super hard to get that playoff spot.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's no real hole on this roster except for in the
their
net.
roster's so balanced that when you say fighting for a spot, usually that means they're probably going to get it, because they don't need anybody to really step forward.
Yeah.
Because they're so balanced that if they just kind of keep business as usual, they'll work their way in. All right. Next to possibly, I mean, aside from the Kings, the team I hate the most in the NHL, the Vancouver Canucks.
Really?
I hate the Canucks.
Interesting.
So much. I've always
How come?
hated them. Just playoff playoff stuff with the Sharks. Just
So
little knee on knee injuries.
there's that too. Yeah.
Just stuff that only I care about.
So I will say this about Vancouver.
Possibly one of the best non-game related hockey pictures of all time is the little Asian kid in the riots after they lost the cup with the hockey stick in his hand after he just smashed the glass of that store, and he's just like, ah!
Yeah, they went nuts for winning the West and then got fucking annihilated by Boston. Eh?
That was like Chris's his background on his computer for years was just that picture, and it's just like
That's really funny.
But yeah, say what you will about the Canucks, so go ahead.
And one thing I will say with them, I find this semi-demoralizing. So my daughter, for anybody who doesn't know, my daughter is named after two of the best Anaheim Ducks of all time. Her name is Kariya Kelani, named after Paul Kariya and Teemu Selanne. I am a bleeding heart Ducks fan. My wife is
Teemu.
My wife is one of the biggest Shark fans of all time. And our daughter somehow is a Canucks fan. I don't know how this happened.
She hates both of you.
Probably there's deep-seated anger.
No,
in
you
this
know what? That's good.
girl.
It's like I would never wanted to be the parent that like forced my favorite team on my child. You gotta find.
Oh, I tried so hard.
You gotta find.
I tried so
There you go. There's your answer right there. Daniel. You're like, oh, you want me to like the Ducks? I'm gonna like the Canucks.
Yeah, it was quite a wake-up call for us.
But these
both.
Canucks have the likes of, Anthony Bolivier, Teddy Bluger, Brock Bozer, Connor Garland, Nils Hoglander, whatever. What do we got?
Did just get Philip Hronek.
McDonough, yeah. JT Miller. Elias Pettersson, obviously.
Talk about their goaltending. Thatcher
Demko.
Demko.
Demko, obviously, yeah. What do they got on the back end here? Ian Cole, Philip Hronek, Quinn Hughes.
Oh yeah, love Quinn Hughes.
Tyler Myers, steadfast back there.
I mean,
and then one of the best names in hockey, Jet Wu.
I love him. I gotta tell you what they do for him in Abbotsford is where he played last season.
But another, Demko. Everybody forgets Demko's first name is Thatcher.
Yeah.
This is a solid hockey name, Thatcher Demko. Again, I mean, solid. I mean, Elias Pettersson alone, dude, is just the guy's a freaking machine.
He is absolutely automatic out there. He's great. Him and Hughes, like that's their team essentially.
Yeah, they're only going to be good though is if they bring back the black and yellow and red jerseys.
I think they have that as a alternate for one night or something like that.
What are you doing?
So here's the thing about Vancouver. I want to preface this by saying I love Vancouver. Not the team. I love the city.
Okay.
I've been to Vancouver quite a bit, and I have famously said if I had the opportunity to move there, it would not take me more than 2 seconds to figure out how.
It's like one of the most expensive cities too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't care. I love.
No, I'm just saying, but
it's such a great area.
That usually tells you the type of place it is.
And I will say that about the city and about the people there and just Canada in general. But I mean Vancouver.
Yeah, I'm a big
alone.
British Columbia guy.
It's beautiful over there. Just
times,
gorgeous.
But I've always had a blast.
That being said, this team is a giant red flag to me.
Mm-hmm.
A 100% red flag.
Other than Pettersson.
And I think, let's be honest, we know what the Ducks are for the most part. Like, they're trying to be something that they're not, but we know what they are. Mm-hmm. Vancouver, I think, we don't know what you are. You're a good...
But we know what you think you are.
I think they think they're a playoff contender, and last season should have proved it. This is a team that is built like an upside-down pyramid. All right? When you take out that one spot on the very bottom that holds everything else up, this thing crumbles.
Oh yeah.
And what is that one spot on the bottom? Do you know? Because it's fucking Thatcher Demko. He got hurt, and this team fell
apart,
imploded upon itself.
Well, it's that back end, dude. I mean, they're top heavy. Obviously, they, like you said, Pedersen's automatic, but
Yeah.
Demko, he can only. I mean, you can't rely so much on single people.
No.
The opposite of what the Kraken are, where they're
Exactly.
just
They're
balanced,
everything by community.
and one guy gets injured, it's not destroying the whole team.
Right.
It's not even destroying a whole line.
Even
for
their
them.
depth is sick in Seattle. You know what I mean?
So, but Vancouver is that. You know what I mean? They are one false move.
They really are,
and
man.
the
They're
whole thing's
they're one move away from being absolutely annihilated.
Garbage,
and this is
being
the
down there with
problem.
the Sharks and the Ducks,
And that's where I see him, actually.
Yeah.
I see him right there, and
hopefully below.
And I wish, but probably not. The team has, so you look up and down their roster, and they have guys that can put the puck in the net. Obviously, Pedersen is automatic. They have JT Miller, who, have you seen JT Miller play?
Yeah, of course.
JT Miller can shoot the lights out, and he will score a pretty fair amount of points for this team. I have never seen this guy back check one time.
No, yeah, and that's, you got to have that team game. You got to have that.
And
team
this guy
mindset.
got defensive forward votes for best defensive forward. This guy does not deserve that in any
when you have
sense.
like the prospect of having Demko be your goalie for a long time and being as good as he is and all that stuff. It's like the back check is what shows your goalie that you care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that you
as
want
a
him.
goalie,
You want him to be there for a while. You want him to have as easy as a time. You know, I always say, like in hockey, like if a goal gets scored, yeah, people casuals blame the goalie. Real hockey heads blame the defender because why'd they get the shot off?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your goal as a hockey player should just be no shots on goal. Like the other team can shoot it, or you should block it. It should go wide.
Contested something.
That's what I mean.
Get an active stick in the middle of something.
Be a pest. Do something and
make it difficult for somebody to shoot the puck.
If you're not doing that,
if they get an easy shot
you
off,
lose your goaltender real quick.
It's the same thing with like if a quarterback has way too much time in the pocket, you can look back on the offensive line and go, see, that guy held that guy. That guy held him. See?
Yeah. And it's just, all right, what grade do the freaking Canucks get? F?
Yeah,
minus?
we don't got to spend a whole lot of time on this team. They're interesting to say the very least.
Same roster pretty much as last season.
There's not a whole lot of turnover here. They did get Philip Hronek, which I really do like on that back end. He's going to make things a little bit easier for Quinn Hughes, so he doesn't have to do everything himself. But I mean, in all honesty, dude, and you said Tyler Myers. I wanted to throw out Tyler Myers. Remember I said last week, big for nothing. Tyler Myers is 6'7", and he is big for nothing.
Right, and that's the I think goaltending, right? Demko, defense, Quinn Hughes, offense, Elias Peterson. This team relies on one guy
every time
in each
Yep.
section. You know what I mean? And that doesn't spell success.
Penalty kill is not wonderful. Power play is not wonderful. They're all about mid.
Their entire penalty kill is Elias Peterson.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's it.
Pretty much. Penalty kill is probably all Quinn Hughes, and power play is probably all Pedersen.
Well, I was just looking at like I saw a list of most shorthanded goals, and Pedersen's up there. But it's like,
well, he's also like you get shot out of a freaking cannon,
right?
You know what I mean?
But that's what I mean. It's like,
but
but you're literally relying offensively on him, defensively on Quinn Hughes, and hopefully Hronek changes.
Yeah, it would help. It would help.
But without anybody back checking or anything like that going in front of Demko, he's not going to last. He's going to get, like you said, he's going to get those John Gibson type shots.
Yeah,
and it's not.
But that's the thing. If Demko does not stand on his head, this team has no chance.
Yeah, and
it really doesn't.
They are gearing up to be a roster that ruins a perfectly good goaltender.
And they're better, and there are just better teams, especially in this division. They're just built better.
Yeah,
they're just built better teams. Like the Canucks are just not a team that's built well.
What's their grade, dude? What's lower than an F?
I'm sorry,
because I'd like
man.
to give them that a Z.
It's not. So it's not. it's not that low because obviously they do have good pieces.
Don't listen to me.
They do have decent pieces. They are what a lot of people think they are, but they do have decent people everywhere. That being said, this team is a C, and I just think that the cohesion between what they are and who they are, this team is destined for 6th place in the division, and they don't see the light of day past that.
Yep, middle of the road.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Last one. The returning champs.
Yep.
Las Vegas Golden Knights.
Defending champs.
You know, my bitterness wants me to hate them because they you know,
it's funny
being a fan of an expansion team and then having other ones come in and have more success and win cups before you do and all this stuff. It really hurts me deep down inside.
It's just funny to me because like I think everybody in the league has this visceral hatred for the Knights, even if you don't like show it immediately. But it's like you kind of like it's in the back of your mind, like you just don't like this team very much. I think it's funny because the Kraken come in, and I don't think anybody has the same.
You want to know what it is?
Feeling.
I'll tell you right now what it is. Kraken have sick jerseys. The Knights.
I like the Knights jerseys. They're all like shiny and whatnot, and they get the little thing here. Yeah. But
Kraken got 3 shades of blue, bro.
That is true.
3 shades of blue.
Yeah. So dark that you think it's black, regular blue,
dude.
and then light like the sky.
Like, dude, it's
great.
beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to look at. That's it. That's the rub right there. And I think anybody who's not from Vegas or just like they just have a predisposition to dislike Las Vegas. I think it's kind of a transient city as it is, right?
I see that, yeah.
It kind of like LA teams where like nobody is from LA that lives
Most
in LA.
People, right?
It's people that went there to go make something of themselves. So
Mm-hmm.
you've got tons of Pittsburgh Steelers fans and other shit like that. And that's kind of what Vegas has been until now. They have teams. They've got the Aces. They've got which nobody talks about.
They're one of the best WNBA teams
until
out there.
until the Knights won that cup. They were the best team in Las Vegas. Yep. They got the Raiders now. They're going to have the A's
coming soon. Yeah.
And then they have a Stanley Cup with the Knights, which one of the most well earned Stanley Cups of all time. So if you had like a predisposition and a dislike for the Las Vegas Golden Knights, if you watched them in the playoffs last season and you're a hockey fan, you shouldn't have that anymore because
I don't think so.
That was one of the most old school cup journeys and wins of all time.
Now, the reason that I do not enjoy the Knights very much, and I will say I am one of those people that have just a little bit of hatred for them, and it's because of what they do to their players. They draft in their expansion draft. They draft Marc-Andre Fleury to be the guy. The very next season, he's out. Yeah. And it's like, I mean,
they have that owner that right out the gate was like, we're winning a cup within 6 years.
Yeah,
so it was like, if you saw any downside to anybody, it was.
And it's like, and then you had Fleury's agent, Alan Walsh. You put the picture on Twitter with him with a giant sword through his goalie's back, and it's just like, I was like, man, they don't treat
the ghost door. Don't worry, it does that all the time.
They just don't treat their players like they care if they're gonna be there long term because they just don't need it. It's just like, look, you're making a decent amount of money, but we can get a lot for you, and it'll make our team better if we get rid of you. And they just don't care.
It showed you it was almost like a basketball owner GM approach to hockey, and we've never had that before, where it was just like, we are strictly building this to win a championship as quickly as possible.
Yep.
And they did it.
And they,
I mean, what are you going to do?
And they did it. You can't
say anything now because they did it.
No, absolutely.
You can't say 10 years down the road and they still hadn't won one yet.
Right.
Then you could say, "Oh,
look
at you."
But it's like, wow, I hope that was worth it. You know what I mean? But it's like, no, it's like you can ask the same question. I hope that was worth it, and it probably was because they won the cup.
It was because I mean I've been singing that bell for 30 years now and haven't gotten there yet. But they're bringing back a lot of your old favorites. Ivan Barbashev, Will Carrier, Jack Eichel,
great player,
William Karlsson, Jonathan Marchessault, Nicholas Roy, Mark Strome, Nick Hague, Alec Martinez, Braden McNabb, Alex Petrangelo, Shea Theodore, and my favorite name from the playoffs last season, Zach Whitecloud.
Yeah. He got a little coming out party for himself then, didn't he?
He did. And then, of course, former Sharks goaltender Aiden Hill.
Don't think he's going to be starting, actually, which is funny. Goalie that won them the cup. I don't think he's going to be the man behind the pipes this year.
Who do you think's going to be in there?
I think it's going to be Logan Thompson because he's finally healthy.
Right.
And it was his show to begin with. So I think,
You're right.
I think they're going back with him.
See, this is why I would probably be unsuccessful, because it's like, dude, playoff success doesn't always mean like long-term success, you know. But it's just like, gosh darn it.
Which, I mean, you look at some of the teams that have won cups. Look at my Ducks in 07. Jaguar was good in the regular season, but nobody would ever call him like a world beater. But he was unbeatable in the playoffs.
Yeah. So, I mean, at least they got him on the roster to bring him back in the playoffs again.
Yeah. No,
but yeah, I think long-term Logan Thompson's the right choice there.
Yeah. And, I mean, look at this team. So just as an aside, the thing that I was talking about how they just don't care about their people and they just want to win cups. It doesn't matter. Riley Smith.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they shipped him out, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know when the cup was awarded?
What, the
last day of the regular season or the playoffs when the Knights won the game was the 25th. On the 28th, Riley Smith was traded.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you hate it from a player's standpoint, but it even shows you, like, even after winning the championship, getting to the top of the mountain, they're still making moves.
But
most teams would sit on their laurels and be like, dude, we just won a championship. We're going to go do this all over again with the same guys. So,
and I think a lot of people right now are picking the Knights to be one of those teams that's like, a little bit of cup hangover, I think, you know, like, yeah, they partied pretty hard, you know, all this kind of thing. It's just like, I think from management all the way down, it doesn't exist in this franchise.
And just by the way they play just rough hockey. Even
each one of the players on their roster currently is over 6 foot tall, except one player, and it was the guy that won the playoff MVP in Jonathan Marchessault.
Yeah.
Every player on the team is big and big for something.
Right.
Not big for nothing. They are all big for something.
Right. And they're just kind of like one of those all business teams. They go out there and they play hockey. Yeah, okay, they might party hard. They won Phil Kessel another one, which is my favorite part about
which I think is great. You know, I mean, like, I hope Phil Kessel signs somewhere, man.
He should sign in San Jose. Come on, bud.
Sign in Anaheim. Shit. Have him on the top line. Have him go with Terry. Hell yeah.
Enough has been said about the Knights. We know who they are.
But
they're champions.
But I think this is the thing. They are champions and they have a championship mindset. I think they got a lot of that from Tampa, actually. And Tampa is to the point, like, you look at how they do their things in Tampa Bay, and the regular season isn't a super concern for them.
Yeah. Well, that's like what we were saying earlier, where it's
just like they just
Edmonton's trying to be the best throughout the entire season.
I think Toronto too. It's like they have to be good in the regular season too, and it's
Vegas
just like
we don't care as long as we get into the tournament.
Like there's 82 games, guys. There's 82 games. Like, make the playoffs, then the season actually begins.
Right. That's I think the way the Knights look at it is just get in, and then it's then we'll then
the games count.
Right.
Let's just get in.
And they're good enough in this division to whether they get the last spot or the first spot. It doesn't matter.
Which I don't find them falling that far from grace. No. The team is largely the same, and the goaltending they have was good when it was healthy, and even when it wasn't healthy, right? They had great keepers.
Just in this division, not even in the whole Western Conference. Sharks, Kings, Ducks, Canucks. You're better than all those teams.
Oh yeah.
So you really got nothing to worry about.
I see them finishing second in the division. They're gonna make playoffs, and they're gonna probably go on a decent.
Let
run.
Edmonton get that number 1 spot and lose to the 8th seed.
I mean, I don't know when the last time a President's Trophy team has actually come out and won the cup. I think it was
Chicago?
if memory serves right, it was the 13 Chicago Blackhawks. I was just like, that's so far
Never
away.
happens.
No. I put this team at an A-, and I just don't see a whole lot of holes here.
No,
I really don't.
It's the same, virtually the same team. They got rid of a couple guys, but kind of kept the same core together.
Yeah.
And they're going to play the same style of hockey. All right, dude. That's Pacific Division. We just had to rip that Band-Aid off real quick.
Yeah.
Next week we'll finish it up.
We probably spent like 5 minutes on the Knights, and we probably spent like 16 minutes on the Ducks and Sharks.
Considering what these grades are about, the good team should get less time because they've got a good roster.
You know what they are. You know what they are. You know what they're doing
It's
here.
the floater teams that are the question mark. That
there's more to talk about with a team like Anaheim or San Jose, because it's like you look at them and it's just like there's so many things to bring up and what you could be, but what you are currently. What you are with the Knights is what you are.
And
You're
you know
a
what,
good team.
Daniel? I'm really happy you brought your grandkids with you today.
Hey, thanks,
because
bud.
with some of the names on the list that we talked about today, it would have been a much more R-rated show. And I've been really trying to keep my language down because the algorithm doesn't like bad language.
Oh, then I need to stop doing that. Then
No, it's fine. It's fine. So you have much more of a monotone approach to things than I do. I get very animated, and it catches the eye of that algorithm. And
so I can slide them in.
We just need to have kids in the studio all the time to keep me from cussing so much.
Oh, there you go.
And maybe we'll be more popular. But all right, that's the Pacific Division. Thank you as always, buddy.
No worries, big guy.
Go Sharks, go Ducks. F the Kings.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. If you're watching this right now and you haven't watched this week's Bungalow Sports Show, go check it out because it came out yesterday with Joey. Because if you're watching this right now, it's Tuesday because this is when this is coming out. Me and Joey, we went live. See, I'm in the future. Me and Joey went live last night.
Hey, there you go.
Because I didn't have time Sunday to do a show. So go check them all out. Check out everybody on the Peak One Sports Network, Betalytics, League Swipe. Support everybody who supports us and enjoy hockey.
You are listening to Peak One Sports.